Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of the Brian Colletto Show, streaming on my LinkedIn and my YouTube channel. And should this ever be repurposed, wherever you may listen to podcasts or live shows, I'm your host, Brian Colletto. And as a disclaimer, this is not information coming from a professional, this is coming from my lived experience and also from how other people have experienced autism. So there you go. Get it? Got it? Good. So in my autism segment, there were a few things I was going to do. I settled on one thing, and that is text versus verbal in responding. The reason this came up is because I had a situation at home a few days ago where I heard some rumblings in the background, and then I heard my father yell for me, not in madness. And I tried to make sure they didn't hear it, but they did. I sort of yelled, "What do you want?" Uh, and that set off a whole thing. I won't get into what the situation uh, was about too much, other than to say it was for plans for the next day, which were last minute. Um, so, why I say this is because, as part of that little conflict that took place last Wednesday, my mom had said to me, uh, next time I'll just send you a text because you seem to respond better than you do when I call you. So I thought about that, and yeah, I I have noticed in my history that, like, sometimes when my mom texts me something she wants from the floor that I'm on right now, that I respond better than if she yells for it. And as somebody on the autism spectrum who struggles with processing information and having delayed responses to that, by having it on text, it makes it easier to process. And because with text, you don't have to always respond right away. Whereas face to face, you have to respond right away. Unless unless you are somebody who really, really has a delayed response, which I don't always all the time. And in fact, sometimes I tend to go on the defensive. So, um, again, that's more of something that would likely happen at home because sometimes I feel like my parents are not seeing what others are seeing. Um, so, but you know, I think that I think they do see a lot of it. It's just they don't always acknowledge it. So, but the point of this is that it's not to say that texting totally replaces a verbal conversation. It doesn't. Like, if you have a lot to say, sometimes it's better to say it verbally than to try to text it. So, but something short, um, that can be done via text. So that's my segment about that. I if you are watching this on LinkedIn, you also see on the post uh, that I was going to mention an activity that I did over this past week. Well, I helped my workplace at National Night Out in Edison, and it was it was okay. I mean, it could have been better from my town's standpoint because while I think there was some good promotion, I don't think it was as good as it was in the past. And I also think that other towns probably did it better than my town. And I also had conflicts with my mom there because of the way she's trying to teach me something. Like like I had never gone out before. That's what it felt like. I know that that's not the case. She views my stuff regularly, so she knows I go out all the time. So, you know, I think I do well enough with protecting my wallet. I mean, there's always something to learn, but you know, in a situation like that, it's a little different than being at a networking event where you have responsible adults. At least I hope so. Um, and and then there was folding a tablecloth, which I am definitely no expert in because folding things is not my forte. Talking like this and doing content is my forte. Um, so, and then I will mention too that I did see some relatives on Thursday. It was last minute plans, um, not expected, but that's as far as I can go with that because I do want to respect privacy. Um, there, these people, these relatives are not as open as I am on social media, um, so there is a line that I draw with things like that. And then this past weekend, I didn't have anything, um, but I did do a little bit of yard work, which, if you know me, you know that I'm not much of a planner. However, I do try to plan ahead for the fall with maintaining plants in our yard because we do have a pretty big oak tree that sheds its leaves all over the yard. And so I want to prepare for that so that I can easily clean it up as fast as possible because this guy's got other events to go to, other community to see, and more to do in my speaking journey. So, you know, is it inconvenient sometimes? Yeah, it is, but that's what we do. So, so yeah, definitely a few emotional moments. Um, and then there's other stuff going on too that I can't quite discuss right now, but I might be able to in the future. So um, that is what I have for this week's episode. So, however much you view this, uh, thank you. I see one person viewing it. I think I know who it is on LinkedIn. So, I'm just going to take a whim and say, if it's you, Caroline, hi, Caroline. Great to see you. Um, I'm not checking LinkedIn at the moment. Um, I can only use one screen at a time. But And if you are viewing this on LinkedIn or YouTube and you have not subscribed or followed yet, I invite you to do so. And I hope to be back for another episode next week. And until then, I send you all love, light, blessings, and peace. Take care.